Today, we're talking about something that sounds simple, but these 10 rules can literally save your life in prison. A lot of people watch prison movies. A lot of people listen to rappers. A lot of people hear stories from their homeboys and think prison is some kind of adventure or something. It ain't. Most people that go to prison spend their first few weeks trying to figure out the rules. The problem is, nobody hands you a rule book when you walk through those gates. Hopefully this is just entertainment. But if you ever do find yourself locked up, remember these rules. Get into it. Rule number 1, do your time. One thing that gets old real fast in prison is listening to people complain. Everybody's got a story. Everybody says they're innocent. Everybody says their lawyer messed up. Everybody says their co-defendant snitched on them. And you best believe everybody says the judge was unfair. He didn't like me. Now don't get me wrong. Sometimes people really do get screwed over. I mean, that happens. But here's the reality. Everybody in prison is dealing with something. The guy next to you misses his kids. The guy across from you misses his mother. Another guy just found out somebody passed away back home. Everybody's carrying something. Nobody wants to hear non-stop complaint every single day. I knew a guy who woke up complaining. He ate his breakfast complaining. He walked the yard complaining. He went to sleep complaining. After a while, people start avoiding him. Not because he was a bad person, but because nobody wants that energy around them 24/7. 24 hours a day. Prison is already depressing enough. You don't need somebody reminding you every 5 minutes. The smartest inmates focus on what they can control. Don't be this guy. Their appeal, their education, their workouts, their future, their mindset. Instead of focusing on what everybody else is doing. That's how you survive. Rule number 2, stick to your word. This one is huge. Your word is everything. Out here in society, people break promises all the time. They cancel plans. They don't answer texts. They say they'll pay you back next week and never do. In prison, that can become a serious problem. If you tell somebody you're gonna do something, if you tell somebody you'll meet them somewhere, show up. If you promise somebody something, follow through. Your reputation is built on consistency. I remember a guy who borrowed something simple, some noodle, nothing major. He said he'd return it tomorrow. Tomorrow came, nothing. Then another day passed, nothing. Then another. At first, people thought maybe he forgot. Then they realized he was just unreliable. The problem wasn't the item. The problem was his word. Once people stop trusting your word, every interaction becomes harder. People don't trust you. People don't want to deal with you. People start looking at you differently. And prison is one place where your reputation follows you everywhere. You can't escape it. Rule number 3, say excuse me. Now some of you are going to laugh at this one. You're probably thinking, crime, saying excuse me? Isn't that serious? Trust me, it is. Prison is crowded. You're constantly walking past people, bumping into people, standing shoulder to shoulder with inmates, other convicts. If you accidentally bump somebody, immediately say excuse me. Immediately. I've seen situations start over absolutely nothing. One guy bumps into another guy. The second guy feels disrespected. The first guy gets an attitude. Now both guys are standing there trying to prove who's tougher. And suddenly, something that should have lasted 3 seconds turns into a fight, or maybe more. That's the crazy part. Most of these situations could have been avoided with 2 words. Excuse me. Respect goes a long way, and disrespect, it can cost you everything, your life. A lot of young guys come in trying to prove that they're tough. The truly dangerous people usually don't have to prove anything. They don't have to say they're dangerous. They're comfortable enough to show basic respect. Remember that. Rule number 4, listen before you talk. When new guys arrive at prison, they usually make one big mistake. They talking way too damn much. They want everybody to know who they are. They want everybody to know what neighborhood they're from, what gang they're from, how tough they are, how much money they made last year, how many fights they been in. I'm telling you right now, nobody cares. Actually talking too much usually creates problems. When I first got locked up, one of the smartest things I did was observe. I watch, I listen, I pay attention. Who's respected? Who's causing problems in the pod? Who's involved with the prison politics? Who's involved in gambling? Is it my cellie? Who's involved with drugs? Who? You learn a lot by keeping your mouth shut. The guy talking the most is usually learning the least. The guy listening is collecting information, and information keeps you safe. A lot of people tell on themselves without even realizing it. The more somebody talks, the more they reveal. It's that simple. Meanwhile, the quiet guy in the corner knows everything happening around him. Rule number 5, mind your own business. This might be the most underrated prison rule of all. Mind your business. You see something happening, you keep on walking. You hear an argument, you keep on walking. You see a drug deal, you better keep on walking. You see prison politics, you already know. Too many people become spectators. They want to watch. They want to know what's happening. They want to get involved. Dangerous and dumb. Because now people start asking questions. Why were you watching? Why were you standing there? Why are you involved? Why do you care? And suddenly you're connected to a situation that had absolutely nothing to do with you. One thing I learned fast was that survival often means staying in your lane. Not every situation requires your opinion. Not every situation requires your attention. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is keep on moving. And trust me, that one listen alone can save a lot of headaches. Now we're getting into the rules that can really make the difference between having a peaceful bed and having a miserable one. And trust me, I've seen guys learn these lessons the hard way. Rule number 6, be clean. Now this sounds simple. Matter of fact, some of you watching right now are probably laughing, crying. Why are you talking about taking a shower? Because prison is different. You're living on top of other people. You're sleeping a few feet away from a grown man. You're sharing toilets. You're sharing sinks. You're sharing common areas. Everything is in close quarters. And when you're living like that, hygiene becomes a bigger issue than most people realize. A guy years ago who refused to clean up after himself. He shaved and left hairs all over the sink. Leave toothpaste everywhere. Leave the toilet nasty. Leave food wrappers laying around. At first, people would tell him nicely, hey man, clean it up. Then they remind him again. Then again. Eventually, people stopped asking nicely. Because here's the thing. Nobody wants to live in somebody else's mess. Especially when nobody can leave. Imagine being stuck in a room with somebody 24 hours a day and they smell terrible. They don't shower. They don't wash their clothes. They don't even brush their teeth. Eventually, you're going to get tired of it. Real tired of it. And what could have been solved with a bar of soap suddenly becomes a major problem. One thing prison taught me is that cleanliness isn't just about hygiene. It's about respect. When you clean up after yourself, You're showing everybody respect around you. When you don't, you're telling everybody that you don't care. And trust me, people notice. I used to see guys treat cleaning day like a military operation, sweeping, mopping, wiping everything down, making sure their area looked right. Not because they loved cleaning, because they understood that peace is easier when people aren't stepping over your mess. So take a shower, wash your clothes, keep your area clean. It's one of the easiest ways to avoid unnecessary drama. Rule number 7, knock on the cell door. Now this is one of those rules that people from the outside, they don't understand. You see a prison cell and you think, that's not a house. Well, to the guy living in it, it's all he got. It's his bedroom. It's his living room. It's his damn office. It's his personal space. It's his everything. And if somebody's cell door is open, that doesn't mean you can just walk in. You have to knock, always. I don't care if the door is wide open. I don't care if you know the person. I don't care if you've been friends for 10 years. You better knock. You stand at the door. You wait to be acknowledged. Then you enter. It's basic respect. I remember seeing a new guy walk straight into somebody's cell one time. He didn't knock at all. He didn't announce himself. He just walked in. The guy living there immediately stood up. And you could tell he wasn't happy. Now, luckily, it didn't turn into anything serious. But the new guy who got educated real quick, because from his perspective, he was just entering a room. From the other guy's perspective, somebody just walked into his house without permission. Those little things matter. Prison runs on respect, sometimes more than anything else. And once you learn the culture, you realize most problems start when somebody feels disrespected. Real talk. Not because of money, not because of property, but because of disrespect. That's why knocking on the door is important. It costs nothing. It takes 2 seconds and can prevent a whole lot of unnecessary problems. Rule number 8, respect the phone. Now, if you've never been locked up, you might not understand how important the wall phone is. The phone is your connection to the outside world. It's your connection to your kids, your wife, your mother, your father, your friends, everybody you care about. For some guys, that 10 or 15 minute phone call is the highlight of their entire day. Think about that. Their entire day. So when somebody's on the phone, leave them the hell alone. Don't stand over them. Don't interrupt them. Start yelling near them. Don't create distractions. Respect the phone. I remember seeing guys wait all day just to make one call. Sometimes they stand in line forever. Sometimes the phones were packed. Sometimes the system was down. That happens. It happens all the time. Sometimes they only got a few minutes. And when they finally got somebody on the phone, that conversation mattered. Maybe their kid just had a birthday. Maybe their mother was sick. Maybe their wife was struggling. You never know what somebody is dealing with. That's why the phone etiquette is such a big thing. People take it seriously. And honestly, they should. Because when you're locked up, communication becomes one of the most valuable things you have. You don't realize how much freedom means until it's gone. And you don't realize how valuable hearing somebody's voice is until you're separated from them. So always respect the phone. Rule number 9, pay your debts. Now we're getting into serious territory. I'm telling you, This is one of the biggest rules in prison. If you owe somebody something, you better pay them. Period. No excuses. No stories. No promises. No games. Pay what you owe. Now, I'm not telling anybody to gamble. Matter of fact, gambling is one of the fastest ways to create problems. But whether it's food, stamps, coffee, commissary, whatever, if you borrow something, you pay it back. I saw guys get themselves into terrible situations because they thought they could ignore debt. Maybe they hoped the other person would forget or something. Maybe they thought they could talk their way out of it. Maybe they thought nothing would happen. They were terribly wrong. Prison operates differently than the streets. There's no customer service desk. There's no payment plan. If you owe somebody, they're expecting their payment. And when payment doesn't come, things can get ugly fast. One of the smartest things you can do in prison is avoid owing people anything. If you can't pay it back, don't borrow it. Simple. It's that simple. That advice would have saved a lot of people a lot of problems. A lot of people died over that. I used to tell guys all the time, don't create obligations you can't fulfill. Because once you do, that stress follows you around every day. And prison is stressful enough already. Rule number 10, no snitching. Now we're at the final rule. And whether people agree with it or not, it's probably the most important rule inside prison culture. Nobody wants to be known as somebody who tells on other people. Nobody. That label is worse than anything. That label follows you around everywhere. And once people believe that that's who you are, it's almost impossible to shake it off. Now understand what I'm saying. I'm talking about prison culture. I'm explaining how prison works. I'm not telling anybody what decisions they should make in life. I'm telling you the reality of prison. And the reality is people pay attention to who talks. People pay attention to paperwork. People pay attention to rumors. People pay attention to everything. Because trust is a huge part of prison life. Whether you're talking about sharing a cell, working a job, playing cards, living in close quarters, trust matters. And once trust disappears, problems start fast. One thing I learned while locked up is that prison has long memories. People remember things. People talk. Information travels. Sometimes faster than you can imagine. So the smart thing you can do is stay out of situations altogether. Don't get involved. Don't become part of the drama. Don't insert yourself into other people's business. Handle your own time. Focus on your own future. Focus on getting home. That's your mission. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal. That's what matters. Getting home to your family. Getting home to your kids. Not winning arguments. Not proving how tough you are. Not impressing anybody. Getting home. And that's really the lesson behind all 10 of those rules. Most people who survive prison successfully aren't the toughest guys. They aren't the loudest guys. They aren't the most feared guys. They're the guys who understand respect. The guys who understand discipline. The guys who understand self-control. The guys who understand that every day they're one step closer to freedom. If you're watching this video, if you're watching this and you've never been to prison, good. Keep it that way. Learn from people who already made those mistakes. You don't need to experience prison to understand prison. And if you're somebody who's currently headed down the wrong road, understand this. Almost nobody thinks they're going to get caught. Everybody thinks it will never happen to me. I could never go to prison until it does. So stay free, stay focused, stay out of trouble. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.